4:15 in the morning. Ever since we had that officer murder, Floyd, and we all saw it in the video, and people try to protest. The only thing you hear from the black leadership, from the majority of them is like Killer Mike. I was sort of surprised. My daddy's a policeman. Is a policeman. It doesn't matter if you're black and your father was a policeman, or you're black and you're a policeman. If you're not the solution, then you're part of the problem, even if you are black. And I think that's part of the problem. They go into the white racist narrative about, oh, don't tear up your own neighborhood, don't burn up your own place. And then, like a month later, they're talking about how, well, black people don't own a lot of these really money-making business. A lot of us want to be entrepreneurs, but just like George Floyd, we got a knee on our neck. America doesn't want to see us succeed. America doesn't want it to succeed if it's going to be looked on as something that the black had helped or been a part of. So I think that what we're seeing now is what a lot of people realize, is that the justice system is not working for America. It's not working to keep our constitutional. In some ways, the police union and the police commissioner and the chief of police, either willingly or unwillingly, or help, single-handedly to destroy our constitutional rights by, ignoring a freedom of speech and numerous other things in our civil rights. And sure, we got a lot of people in prison. Sure, the prison industry is making, a lot of money. Either it's on the phone calls where it's like $10 for like 2 minutes. Thank God for cell phones, right? If you can sneak them in there. Or the commissary is the same as you get, if not more expensive than what you get at the bodega at the corner store. And yet you get like 35 cents to 60 cents a day to do any type of work, from volunteering at the prison, from being a firefighter to, doing laundry or preparing food. The amount that they get paid is not enough. It's just enough to keep the prison guards incentive to encourage them to do illegal stuff, like sell drugs for them, or sell their mail, or sell their self. So that's basically its incentive to be corrupt. If you look at our police department, it's been incentive to be corrupt. A lot of the money that we get for the police to do all their overtime, and if they have one warrant show up, they're gonna have at least 10 to 20 police cars show up. So you can see why they can't really do anything but walk arm in arm, or and just snatch up probably ones that are just don't have anything to do with actual any violence or any of the vandalism that's going on in these places that are protesting. And the thing is that, again, we have leaders that in the black community come out, like crying, like, oh, don't tear up Let me tell you something. The police been tearing up these hoods since then. If you look at a lot of places where you have a lot of police presence at, you mostly got vacant, empty homes scattered through that area. Police are incentive to go down to auctions and get these homes. In some places, as soon as they find out that it's not going to be turned over and gentrified towards more Caucasian, which, I guess that means money. That just means that banks don't mind giving Caucasian money. And then you have systemic racism in a lot of ways. And in the South, you have black people that are still not stimulized, still living with that Jim Crow type of mentality. You still have them where they whoop their kids, so you have some. Of course, they like it's normal, like for them, it's that one person that doesn't get whooped that's in that community that can see, how harmful and hurtful it is, and just like the type of ideas that they have is sort of archaic and self-destructive. And so we have a lot of things that are attacking the black community, and a lot of us has learned ourselves to emulate what whites do. I mean, it's one thing it's just like if you hang out with a bunch of junkies, you might end up being junkies. But so I mean, I think that now we understand what Putin and Kim Jong Un was doing when they wanted to see Trump along. They wanted to make sure that what they started to, like flooding, or some more politics, with money through corporations and controlling them to, really destroy the community. It's easy to destroy, like, children, be it like not giving them the right type of education, whooping them, sexual abuse, throwing the trauma from from police brutality, throwing them in jail. It doesn't matter, because with our private prisons, it's about putting people in jail. We're not rehabilitating anybody to bring them back in the community. A lot of times, if they've been through the system from juvenile to adults, next thing you know, you have serial killers. So or we have like they come out of juvenile with pedophilia type tendencies, with homicidal. They come out as sort of the type of people that's been overseeing them has been projecting onto them a type of hate, a type of disrespect, and so it comes to the point where this is what you have. You're trying to keep a community down, and and let's face it, our school systems has failed us. We want to point a finger and blame them and blame so and so. Oh, they're stupid, or they're this. There's a fool. But a lot of the times it is our early education system. Look what people eat for breakfast: milk and cold cereal. Okay, the milk is fat and sugar. Cold cereal, sugar. That's all sugar. So in the morning, you're just going on sugar. They get to school, and teachers want them to just sit there, and do inhuman things, like basically just be in a catatonic state at the desk, and of course be able to be alert. But instead, you have people that they're just cheating, they can get away with cheating at the teacher. So you don't have the kids that are moving around, getting the exercise they need, nor the food. So you get obese children with onset of diabetes. And lots of times children get the diabetes 1, which it's a lot different to get to get control of than diabetes 2. And that's a very young age. I was telling somebody, if the less protein that a kid has, in their diet, because our normal diet before, white capitalists came along, we were probably mostly, majority, fish and grain eaters and root eaters. Nowadays, we're more red meat and I don't know what some of the stuff that people eat that's processed, but we're not eating like I know people they don't like certain stuff, not because they've been told that vegetables are nasty, so they don't know that some things are, it's not. But anyway, so the diet has changed, um, um, and so you're supposed to have diabetes with that diet. Here you are in the morning, you have the cold cereal with the milk, maybe a Tart, more sugar. Maybe on the way to school you stop and get a soda and some chips, more sugar. Carbs, that's probably the main thing. Is a lot of them, it just goes to sugar. And the reason why eating too much protein happens is that your body has the ability it takes longer to break down the proteins into than it does the sugary things. So the protein will sit in your kidneys, and the sugar will go ahead and go, and then a lot of times you'll just excrete through your urine a lot of the protein, and so that sometimes what causes diabetes 1. So simple thing of just eating some fish, eating acorn squash, which is very delicious to me because it's sweet. Eating sweet potatoes, eating just some roughish there, nice cabbage, or but introducing less red meat and more like chicken, turkey, and of course fish. Of course, I don't even follow that, but I did when I was younger. Very much so. So our diet, right? And it also affects everything about it. So we're making America less healthy. We're not educating them. If you look over at Asia, they're big on education. We don't stand a chance. Like somebody like Trump that goes over there and talks to them by himself. Their whole plan is good. We'll use their greed and we'll use their racism and just sit back and watch them totally destroy themselves, and and as long as they're not advising or communicating or debriefing the American citizens, the more harm you can do. Trump's lies and everything are very harmful to the core and the fabric of our society. So is people like Mitch, like Gates, like Jordan, like a lot of the Republicans. They're very harmful to the underlying base. And when you look at the base, it is the citizens, it's the working class. It's not the CEO, it's not the president. A director can be great, but if he doesn't have any actors that show up, if he doesn't have the camera crew that show up, or the sound crew, or props, then he doesn't have anybody to be great with. If we have a police system where we are regressing their emotional mentality of the police to keep them hostile, to keep them angry, to keep them unfocused on how to really solve the issues, the problems. And that's all you got to do is insert greed and jealousy. It's called the seven deadly sins. And you can see it acting out in like that policeman that killed Floyd. The more people beg for him, the more you could see that he put more pressure on the neck, because he was enjoying it. He was enjoying being in conflict. He was in, he just knew it was a nasty, hateful thing to not just say to the people, you're right. Let me stop. I don't want this on me. It doesn't matter if they probably let him go because, like with the police union and the police commission and police chief, they got it as a joke. Their job is a joke. They can't stop the riots because if it takes them 10 people to give 10 to 20 police and a whole SWAT union to give out one warrant, to kill one person in their house with 8 bullets, and it be the wrong person. I'm saying they don't have a mentality that they can make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. They just make mistakes and feel like a fool or stupid or shame. So, if you got people that always criticize and find somebody stupid and find this, it just shows that they have a narcissistic. They're sort of narcissistic tendencies. There's just different levels of narcissistic. You can be narcissistic and not be at the level of that policeman with his knee on George Floyd's neck. You could just be on the level where you enjoy watching. Like that Asian guy that was his partner. You see, the other 3 white guys was all, pressed down on him. You know what I'm saying? And what they gonna say? Oh, I didn't know he was gonna die. Oh, he had a heart condition. Oh, he must have had drugs on him. So what? United States is filtering tons of drugs in to make tons of money from Turkey, from Afghanistan, from Colombia and other places in South America. There's supposed to be drugs here because this is a consumer society now that's in the service industry. All the factories are overseas. So, someone like Putin, someone like Kim Jong-un, any of the Asian countries that, frankly, hates white politics because of the white majority that rules are very cruel. Leave polluted. They get their place polluted. Even if it costs them less money not to pollute it, they rather, it's just the way they are. It's like, it's like we got our foot on your neck. Now we really, once you're dead, we really got power. We could really disgrace our whole community by being nasty to the family. It's their, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like that parent that hits their kid because they had a bad day at work. It's not any, they got to find fault with somebody's, causes and problems. That way you don't have to solve it. Or if you don't know how to solve it, because maybe you got whooped growing up. So this is where we're at now, where our black leaders telling us, oh, this is not the right way to protest. Oh, and so we should just there's no right way, there's no wrong way to protest. The only thing that's wrong is that we don't have any leadership. We don't have any guidance because money talks, right? And we just have to listen to all the bullshit. Please get away with this. and then they just, you got to remember, they got their tanks, they got everything. They are geared now to be the ones that are you see it in a lot of countries where they have bad leaderships. They just start killing the people, like that guy in Philippines. It's like, oh, you come outside and you don't have a mask on, we'll shoot you. That type of self-destructive, and you wonder why the people are so poor. Like, look at India. Look how they did their people. The less leadership you have, the more, or the less empathy, the less comprehension that the leader has, the less respect the leader has for themselves. Like, Trump has no self-respect. If you have self-respect, you wouldn't be going and having sex with a porn star, and you're supposed to be rich, when there's a lot of rich women that probably was in his circle that would be interested in him, except for that, his behavior is trifling and roguish. So, any female that, if you're paying for a female, you might be paying for, somebody to slash your throat because they don't like you. Anyway, let me get off. I just want to say that, hey, if all they have to do is give justice to where justice is due, treat the policemen like they're American citizens, like they're under the same Constitution, under the same laws, and that they are human, and to be human is to be aired. And if you can't correct the problem, then really you need to get out of the way of anybody trying to solve it, because then you are the problem. I don't care if you is black or African American or Asian or Caucasian, because like when America falls, when Putin and Kim Jong-un was giggling and laughing and like, look how greedy and look how much control we have, but just sprinkling a little bit of money. Because, like, to tell the truth, if you're depending on somebody else to give you money, then they own you. That's what capitalism is about. It's basically about slavery. And the biggest slaves that we have are like Mitch McConnell. He's a slave to the almighty dollar. He has, what I'm saying? He's going to do whatever it takes to keep himself money. Same thing with Gates and Jordan and a few others Republicans. They're going to do what it takes to keep money in their pockets. And if that means destroying their Constitution, destroying America, by not fixing bridges, not fixing roads, not creating schools, that's not getting their money cycle off to the police department, so the police department can get, do overtime just driving around while they're doing crack. Because I think that white policeman, I don't think that killed Floyd, I don't think that was the first time he killed somebody. They have probably a bunch of serial white killers on the force, and the unions behind them. It's just when you be black, and the black police need to know that you're not white. Even if people say, oh, look, you talk white. Talking white has nothing to do with your skin melon, unless it's a blind person. So the way you talk, the way you dress, any of that doesn't make a difference. What would make a difference is if we get behind our Constitution, get behind our civil rights, put the money back in the education system, put the money back in fixing bridges and highways. That's what is going to make jobs, not making more prisons. Not giving policemen, bigger guns and bigger weapons. You know, because now I didn't see one black person out there with an AR-15 like you did with the white people behind Trump. So, you know, you choose your side. You know, you go along with Trump, you go along with Mitch McConnell, you go along with Jordan and Gates, and find that we're going to be so polluted we won't have water. You know what I'm saying? We won't have anybody to run the electric company because they're not going to be CEOs. They're not going to be millionaires. So, you know, it's a wonderful way to destroy the country, you know, from the base, from what's holding the other people up. Is it time for black people to leave America? Nah, we can't afford it. Is it time for police to get a grip of the reality that you are destroying our Constitution, that you are destroying your own kids going to have to live here, and they're going to go to schools, and I don't care what area you live in, it's all going to filter to you. So, you know, either we get what we need now is justice. We need justice. We need all four of those policemen in jail. I've never heard of third degree. That man, when that man pulled him out of that car, he had decided then that he was going to kill him. He just figured everybody was so stupid that they didn't realize that he's killing them because he's done it before. He's a serial killer.